Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to go over the shopping list that I created, the 30-day beginning prepper shopping list. You can also, I'll leave the link to that article that I wrote as well, kind of detailed. Now, this is kind of like thinking you have absolutely nothing and this is where to start. So it's not a super detailed list, but there's a lot of stuff on it. So anyway, with this PDF I created, I just wanted to go over how this works because it's if you don't, I use these quite a bit, but if you don't ever use them, maybe it just needs a little bit explanation. But this is pre-filled out. It's got all the stuff that I talk about already on it, but there's spaces for you to add more as well. And you just click on that and then delete that, and then you can add whatever you want in there. I'm not going to type anything right now. But let's go ahead and go over what exactly is on this list. One more thing, too, before I get into that. You can change your notes here if you want to add some notes. Say, don't forget to get, the kids love Pop Tarts, something like that. So I've got to get some Pop Tarts. But you can add your own notes in there. So let's go ahead and start with the first part. And I'm just going to give some explanations of all of these different things to give you an idea kind of where to start if you haven't yet. So 1 gallon of water per person per day. That's kind of an average. That's you want to get as much water as you possibly can. So even if it's try to plan on 2 gallons of water per person per day, you're going to probably use more than you think you are with bathing, with cooking, all of that stuff. Make sure you have containers for water. Those can be 2 liter water bottles. If it's gray water, which means that you're going to be using it to wash dishes and stuff, you can use the gallon milk jug, stuff like that. But they also have water bricks, which are pretty cool because if you live in a smaller house or apartment, you could actually stack those pretty neatly and utilize your space a lot better in closets, stuff like that. Even if you don't bake, you want to grab 30 pounds of flour. You need to learn how to, at the very least, make bread. It's pretty easy, but flour and some of these things will go a long way. It's not like opening a boxed meal or some legacy food or anything. You can actually make a lot of food for a lot of people if necessary for an extended period of time. They even sell these cans of flour in cans. You don't necessarily need to get the bags. Get 10 pounds of sugar. You're going to need that for baking. Also, you're going to need some kind of sweetener. It's going to get kind of boring drinking water all the time. Sugar is just great to have around. You use more than you actually think. Also, get 5 pounds of salt just to season things. Some things might be a little bland, especially if you're making beans and stuff like that. You're going to want to season that up. And also, along with that, get your other favorite spices too. I love pepper. I love garlic powder, garlic salt, all that stuff. So I want that because that way I can kind of spice things up if I need to and add a little bit of flavor to stuff that doesn't quite have enough flavor. Some of these canned foods that you'll be getting, probably not so much, but you never know with the beans and stuff you're going to be cooking. Get 2 boxes of dehydrated milk. Now you can make bread with all of this stuff. You're not gonna, unless you have chickens or anything, or maybe even buy some dehydrated eggs. You're not gonna be able to have eggs in that, but with all this different stuff, you can still make bread. 20 pounds of rice, and rice is good. You can get the brown rice, which is a little more healthy for you, or just the regular rice. It kind of doesn't matter. The only thing is get what your family's going to eat though, because if you don't eat brown rice right now, the odds are they're not going to like it too much in that situation. And get an assortment of beans, about 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Get different kinds because you can make different things with beans. If you know how to make refried beans, those are great. The Mexicans still do that to this day. They use rice, beans. That's a staple of and tortillas. That's a staple of their diet. So get a bunch of different kinds. You can even make crock pot meals with beans, and those will last for a few days depending on the size of your family. Get a couple jars of honey. Honey also has medical uses, but it's another sweetener and it's a little bit better for you. So get about 2 jars of those. Get some cooking oil too, about a gallon of cooking oil, maybe even two. This is kind of for a 30-day time period is what I'm thinking with this list, but you just never know. Olive oil can get kind of expensive for a gallon. I think it's about 20-30 bucks. But maybe mix it up a little bit. You can get some olive oil, some vegetable oil. Some things you cook, you don't necessarily need olive oil. It's just better for you and better tasting. I love olive oil. Get 10 boxes of pasta and spaghetti noodles and stuff like that. That will last a while. And again, it's like having the flour and the ability to make bread. It goes a long way for really cheap, about $1 for a box for a pound of pasta. Get 10, 15 of those. Now, also boxed meals are pretty cool. They have a long shelf life, and these ones I'm talking about are banquet meals. That style. It's got the everything in it that you need. You don't need to add anything. You just put it in a dish. Figure out how to bake it. If the oven's not working, you're gonna have to figure that out. Maybe sun oven or something like that. But the meat is pre-cooked, pre-canned. All of that stuff is already included in it. And then go ahead and grab 30 cans of fruit, and just assorted different kinds of fruit. Family loves fruit, so the more you get, the better. People will eat fruit before they eat the veggies, which brings me to the veggies. You can get about 20 cans of these, but again, make sure it's what your family's going to eat. It makes sure that you're not getting cans of asparagus or anything like that. And finally, with the canned foods, I think this is the most important. Get a bunch of about 30 cans of different kinds of canned meats. You've got tuna, there's chicken chunks, there's all sorts of different meats, even spam, stuff like that. So get a bunch of those. You're going to need protein in a situation like that. So this is an easy, convenient way to not have to raise all the animals. We have a couple of chickens, but we don't have actual roosters, so we're not going to have that meat available. We'll have the eggs, but not the roosters. So just get a bunch of different cans of different canned meat. Then go ahead and grab three jars of peanut butter, the 40-ounce jars, the big ones. Peanut butter lasts for a long time. It's got a lot of protein. It's just really good stuff. And if you have the ability to make bread, then you've got your peanut butter. Just really good stuff, and it's good for lunches and stuff like that. Also get a couple jars of jelly, the 32 ounce, and make sure it's the kind. You don't want to get peach jelly if your family doesn't like peach jelly. Or you can make all of this stuff as well. This is kind of a long list, but if you're starting from nothing and you've got a couple of days to prepare, this is going to cost you a lot of money, but it's a pretty good list. Flavored drinks. You're going to get sick of drinking water, so you're going to want stuff like Tang, Mio, even Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid takes a lot of sugar, but I really like the Mio because of its convenience. I even have a couple in my bug out bag because it's basically you take water, you put a squirt in there, and you've got something that isn't just regular old water. Although sometimes in a situation like this, water's going to taste pretty damn good. We also have 2 backup cans of coffee here in the house because we're big coffee drinkers. If you're not, you can kind of take this one off. But always have a couple backups and make sure that you have a way to make that coffee too. Your automatic coffee machine's not going to work if the grid's down, so have a percolator. Also, get 400 tablets of 1-a-day vitamins. That's two bottles, I believe. And they make different kinds for depending on who you are, male, female. They even make prenatal ones or elderly ones. So pick the right kind for your family member. And if you're going to get 200 for you, 200 for your wife, go ahead and do that. But get the children's and get the right kinds, basically. And then also get two boxes. I think they're 42 ounces. 2 boxes of Quaker oatmeal, or any kind of oatmeal for that matter. It's just a good to have a breakfast item. Yeah, you can make pancakes, but like I said, the eggs are the dehydrated eggs are a little bit expensive, but good to have. We have chickens here, so we don't need to worry about that. But if you don't, you can still make this stuff. It's just not going to taste quite as good. So have some Quaker oatmeal. Cereal is good too, except cereal, once it's open, doesn't have a very long shelf life. I think an unopened box of regular cereal lasts about a year. But once it's opened, it goes way down and gets stale. I'm sure it's probably still edible. It just doesn't taste all that great. So that's what I've got on the food shopping list.